You sit at the edge of a crowded room, a cup of tea trembling slightly in your hands, feeling a quiet pulse against the hum of voices around you. People laugh and converse, their energy vibrating like sunlight on water, and you realize you're smiling, nodding, even leaning in when someone speaks, yet inside, there is a stillness, a soft echo of exhaustion, as if you've been performing a role that doesn't always belong to you. This is the first gentle sign. The mask feels natural, and yet, underneath, your mind is quietly pulling away. Psychology calls this social masking, a strategy introverts often develop to navigate the external world. It's not a flaw, it's a learned rhythm, a delicate dance between being seen and staying safe. Your calendar is meticulously full. Meetings, lunches, calls, happy hours, and you're always on, always performing warmth and attentiveness. You feel a soft pang of fatigue afterward, a subtle emptiness that comes when the brain shifts from its authentic, restorative introverted state into a socialized one. Your prefrontal cortex works overtime. Your amygdala constantly scanning for social cues. Your mirror neurons firing in rapid imitation to match expressions and energy. It's a mental marathon disguised as normality. The science of social exhaustion explains it as cognitive load. Each smile, each laugh, each nod requires energy your nervous system is not always replenished enough to give freely. This is the second sign. Chronic depletion despite outward engagement. Sometimes, you find yourself rehearsing conversations before they happen, imagining questions, responses, the cadence of laughter. You speak clearly, confidently, but inside, there's a whispering anxiety. What if they see the quiet you guard so carefully? The third sign emerges here. Over-preparation becomes a tool, a shield. Psychologists understand this as anticipatory social anxiety, not because you are inherently fearful, but because the introverted brain seeks certainty in unfamiliar social territories. The mind attempts to map every exit, every point of entry, every emotional fluctuation. It is a quiet brilliance, one that the world may never fully recognize, yet it leaves your nervous system tense in ways others can't see. In moments of quiet reflection, a walk at dawn, the sound of rain against the window, the soft hum of your apartment at dusk, you notice the subtle paradox. You long for silence, for depth, for unhurried presence, yet you have learned to calibrate your energy to match a world that often expects you to be louder, faster, more visible. Your parasympathetic nervous system longs for stillness, for the restorative alpha waves that come from being alone, immersed in thought, immersed in self. The fourth sign surfaces here. A deep, persistent craving for solitude that isn't indulgent, but essential. Neuroscience shows introverts experience dopamine differently. Social rewards are not absent but require more careful management. You feel this as a pull, a gentle tug at the heart of your inner world. You notice the way laughter sometimes feels like a mask itself. You catch your reflection in a window or a mirror, and there's a pause. Is this the face that truly feels your emotions, or the one you've curated? The fifth sign. Emotional layering. Introverts who mask learn to distinguish between surface feelings and inner truth. You may comfort a friend, listen patiently, offer advice with warmth, yet internally, a quiet observer notes every detail. The texture of the voice, the cadence of breathing, the subtext behind every word. This is not coldness. It's nuanced awareness, an emotional intelligence that often goes unacknowledged. The brain's anterior cingulate cortex and prefrontal regions are quietly engaged in constant interpretation, translating social cues while preserving inner boundaries. Even your humor carries layers. A joke, a clever remark, a witty comeback. You offer them generously, yet beneath the laughter is a calibration, a subtle calculation to ensure you fit in, to maintain harmony without overexposing your inner rhythm. This is the sixth sign. The social self becomes a performance art. Studies on introverted masking suggest the reward system activates not just through social validation, but through the quiet satisfaction of having successfully navigated a social environment without compromising internal safety. It is both artistry and survival, and it leaves a soft residue of emotional fatigue that whispers, "I need a pause." At times, your thoughts spiral quietly, unnoticed by the room around you. You imagine conversations that never happened, replay interactions, wonder if your gestures were sufficient, if your words were kind enough, if your presence was measured correctly. You feel the gentle ache of overthinking, yet there is a wisdom in it too. A reflective capacity that allows you to understand the subtle dynamics of human behavior. The seventh sign is this reflective intensity, this deep, often hidden analytical lens that quietly observes, quietly remembers. Neuropsychology calls this self-monitoring, a trait more common among introverts, especially those who have learned to mask. It sharpens empathy, heightens perception, and yet demands careful balance lest the nervous system become overtaxed. Finally, there are moments, rare, luminous, when you are truly alone. No eyes watching, no expectations, no need to perform. You breathe deeply, the weight of social calibration lifts, and your body remembers its natural rhythm. Muscles release tension, heart rate slows, and the mind begins to wander freely, tracing thoughts as they rise and fall. The eighth sign is liberation itself. The sweet, quiet realization that your authentic self exists, independent of observation, independent of performance. Psychology frames this as the homeostatic return to baseline. The nervous system recalibrates, the introverted brain restores, the soul exhales. These are the moments when creativity sparks, when reflection blooms, when you remember the profound value of simply being. Understanding these signs is not about labeling weakness. It's about honoring complexity. Introverts who mask are not lost, but adaptive. They navigate a world that often rewards extroverted behaviors, and in doing so, they demonstrate remarkable resilience. Neuroscience, attachment theory, and social psychology converge here, revealing that masking is a protective mechanism, a sophisticated form of social intelligence, and a testament to the human capacity for adaptation. Yet, the journey toward self-awareness, toward recognizing your authentic rhythms, is equally vital. It is in the quiet moments of reflection, the intentional pauses, the conscious allowance of solitude that the nervous system heals, the mind softens, and the heart remembers its natural cadence. Imagine yourself walking through a soft forest at dusk. The sun spills amber across the leaves, the wind whispers across branches, and there is a gentle clarity in the air. This is your inner world, always present, often concealed, waiting for your attention. Every smile you gave, every joke, every conversation you navigated with grace. These were steps along a path, not a detour. The mask was never a betrayal of self, but a bridge, a tool, a compass pointing toward adaptation. And now, in awareness, you can begin to balance, to integrate, to honor both the world and your own quiet depths. You notice the soft textures of daily life, the warmth of your morning tea, the way sunlight dances on the floor, the hush of evenings settling over your space. You recognize that being introverted is not a limitation. Masking is not a failing. Rather, they are expressions of a mind finely attuned to nuance, to detail, to empathy, to human connection. Psychology shows that self-compassion, reflective journaling, and intentional solitude are restorative practices, allowing introverts who mask to return to their authentic rhythms. You are learning to navigate the world with awareness, not just survival. You are learning that presence is not performance, that depth is not isolation, that silence is not absence. And in these moments, the mask loosens. You catch your reflection in a window and smile softly. Not a rehearsed smile, but one that rises from recognition, from acceptance, from the gentle wisdom of having navigated both the world outside and the vast inner landscape of your mind. You feel gratitude for your adaptability, tenderness for your resilience, and curiosity for the quiet, luminous path ahead. Psychology and empathy converge here. The mask has served its purpose, and now with awareness, you are free to walk softly, to breathe fully, to live deeply. So you continue your walk, the forest fading into twilight, the stars beginning to emerge, each one a reminder of the infinite complexity within and around you. Every encounter, every laugh, every moment of social grace was a part of your growth. You hold it with gentle recognition, yet you also hold your own inner space sacred. And as night settles, you feel the quiet affirmation of being enough. As you are, beneath the mask, beyond expectation, luminous in your authentic introversion. The 8 signs are not just markers. They are invitations. Invitations to notice your patterns without judgment, to honor your energy, to cultivate rest, to balance social engagement with restorative solitude, to understand your brain, your emotions, your nervous system, to recognize that masking is not betrayal, but adaptation, to embrace the tender paradox of being both visible and private, both connected and whole. And in this gentle cinematic unfolding of awareness, you realize your mind is not a problem to solve. It is a world to explore, a soft and luminous landscape, rich with the poetry of being, waiting for your curiosity, your kindness, and your gentle, unhurried presence.